Hi friends, we are getting ready to do our last math video for the e-learning experience. I need you to get out your e-learning packet. We are going to turn to the math section, and today is day 5 of week 4. So week 4, day 5. As you can see on my screen, we are going to be counting by ones and hundreds today. Sometimes we're going to be counting forwards by ones by tens and hundreds, and other times we'll be counting backwards by tens and hundreds. Let's get started with A. They show us 10, 20, 30, 40, and since we're so great at counting by tens, we should know that the number that comes next after 10, 20, 30, 40 would be 50, 60, 50, 60, 70, 80. They give us a few more blanks, and that's where you are going to come in and write those numbers. Continue counting by 10. So far we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and you'll continue going the rest of the way. That was us counting forward by tens. Okay, that was us counting forward by tens. Notice that the numbers are getting bigger in the tens place. Let's see what our pattern will be for part B. We've got 280, 270, 260. Now I just want to draw attention to our tens place. 280, 270, 260. Do you notice how the tens place is getting smaller every time? We start out with 8 tens, then the next number only has 7 tens, then the number after that only has 6 tens. That is why it's going down. This is a minus 10 pattern, so we're counting backwards by 10. 280, 270, 260, 250, 240, 230. Okay, let's look at our tens place. 8 tens, 7 tens, 6 tens, 5 tens, 4 tens, 3 tens. Getting lower by 1 in the tens place every time. I want you to continue the pattern for part B. For part C, let's take a look. We've got 213, or 203, 213, 223. As you can see, look at our tens place. Is the numbers in the tens getting smaller or bigger? They're getting bigger. We start with 0 tens and it goes up by 1. And then the next one has 2 tens. And then I bet the one after that will have 3 tens. And then I bet the one after that will have 4 tens. So we have 203, 213, 223. Now I'm going to add one more 10 to the tens place. That's going to put me at 233. Now I'm going to add another 10, 243, 253, and I want you to continue on with the remainder. Now let's look at 10, or let's look at D. 567, 557, 547, 537. As you can see, if we look at our tens, we start out with 6 tens, 5 tens, 4 tens, 3 tens. Notice how the tens place is getting smaller. That's because it's going down by 10 every time. Okay, so 6 tens, 5 tens, 4 tens, 3 tens. I bet the next one will be 2 tens. So we got 567, 557, 547, 537, 527, 517. Okay, notice how it's getting smaller. Now this is where it gets tricky because we have 0 tens left at 507. So you'll have to count backwards. 507 minus 10 and write that number right here. Okay. All right, I'll let you finish those last 2 numbers in the pattern. Now we're going to count forward or backwards by hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400. This should be easy. Notice that the numbers are getting bigger by 100 every single time. You're going to continue the pattern. 950, 850, 750. Look at the hundreds place. We start out with 900s, Then we end up with 800s. Then we end up with 700s. Now we're going to have 600s. Then we'll have 500s. Then we'll have 400s. See how it's getting lower by 100 every time? 300s. So we've got 950, 850, 600, 750, 650, 550, 450, and you're going to continue on with the pattern. Let's look at C. 203, 303, 403. Which place value is getting bigger? Well, that is the hundreds. Start out with 200s, then it gets bigger and ups up to 300s, 400s. It's getting bigger by 1 in the hundreds place. Notice that our 1s and our 10s do not change. 203, 303, 403, 503, 603, 703. Okay, and I want you to figure out what that last number in the pattern will be. All right, last one for our patterns for counting by hundreds. 914, 814, 714. Let's look at our hundreds place. We start out with 900s, drops down to 800s, drops down to 700s. It's getting lower by 100 every single time. So 914, 814, 714, 614, and I want you to continue on with the pattern. This is a decreasing pattern. It's getting smaller by 100. All right, this is our last problem of the year. Jose has a bag of marbles. There are 8 red marbles in the bag, so I'm going to write red 8. Okay, he's got 8 red marbles. There are twice as many green marbles as there are red marbles. So I'm going to write green. Does it tell me exactly how many green marbles there are? No. But luckily, I'm a great mathematician, and I can look back, and it says that there are twice as many green marbles as there are red marbles. So I'm going to take what I know about the red marbles, that there are 8 red marbles, and I know that there are twice as many green marbles. Twice as many as 8 would be 16. Okay, because if we want to know twice as many of something, we take that number. Okay, we take that number, 8, and we plus it by itself. Okay, that's where I got 16 from. So there are twice as many green marbles, so that's 16. And then let's talk about the blue marbles. There are 2 fewer blue marbles than green marbles. Well, there are 16 green marbles, so if there are 2 fewer, that's 16 minus 2. That's going to give us 14 blue marbles. All right, and lastly, we've got those white marbles. There are half as many white marbles as blue marbles. So we got to go back to what we learned about the blue marbles. And that is that there are 14 blue marbles, but half as many, which means if we cut the number 14 in half, okay, so if I have 14 dots and I take away half of them, I am left with 7. I'm left with 7. So I'm going to close this out really quick, and I'm going to highlight our numbers here so that you can see we've got 8 red marbles. We've got 16 greens. We've got 14 blues, and we have 7 whites. Now notice, this problem does not give you the numbers of each color marble. Now they give you clues so that to help you figure out what the answer will be, but you have to use those clues to figure out how many of each color there are. Luckily, we did that together, so you know that there are 8 red marbles, 16 greens, 14 blues, and 7 whites. Here is the big question. How many total marbles are in the bag? Well, when I hear how many total are in the bag, I know that I'm going to need to add them up. I want to see how many there are all together. So that number sentence is going to be our 8 red marbles, plus our 16 greens plus our 14 blues and our 7 whites. I'm going to let you solve this independently, but I will give a clue. When you're solving a problem like this that has 1, 2, 3, 4 add-ins, okay, that's what we call these numbers right here in between the addition signs. When you're solving a problem with so many numbers, it's helpful to start by just adding a few of them first. So maybe try adding the 8 and the 7 together first. Well, when I add 8 and 7, let's see, let me count with my fingers here. I've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so that's easy because now I'm done counting my 8 and my 7. Okay, so all that I have left is I've got to add the 16 plus the 14. Okay, well, once you do that, you're going to get an answer, and you're going to take that answer and plus it with this answer over here. Okay, I just chose to break this down by adding the 8 and 7 together first, then I added the 16 and the 14, and then I'm going to add those two answers or sums together to get the total number of marbles. What strategy did you use to solve this problem? Did you draw a picture when you solved it? Did you act it out with cubes? Which means, did you use something that you can touch to make those numbers for you? Did you make a list, or is there another way that you solve this problem? I love to use pictures. I also love to use cubes. I also love to just do it vertical way and solve it that way. So go ahead and circle the way that you solved it. All right, friends, like I said, that is our last video for our e-learning experience. Reach out for me for math. Reach out for me if you have any questions, and I hope you have a wonderful day.